We're jumping into a deep dive today that's built around, well, a truly extraordinary source material. It's not just the subject, the Age of AI, but who wrote it. We're talking about former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger.
Right. And former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, a legend in tech.
Exactly. And Daniel Huttenlocher, who's the dean of MIT's Schwarzman College of Computing.
It's a remarkable group. You have policy, industry, and top-tier academia all coming together on this one huge idea.
And what is that idea?
They're arguing that AI isn't just, the next big product. It's not even the next big industry. It's a fundamental enabler.
An enabler?
A force that's going to transform, well, everything. How we do science, how we organize our defense, what we even think of as art, and maybe our most basic idea of what it means to be human.
So that's really the mission for us today, to explore that core claim that AI is changing our whole perception of reality.
And they put it on a scale we haven't seen since the Enlightenment. It's that big of a deal.
If you think about it, AI is already everywhere. It's augmenting what we do in ways that are super obvious, but also in ways that are so subtle you don't even notice.
Precisely. And the urgency in their writing comes from this need to get our heads around the implications now.
While we still can.
While it's still within, the realm of human understanding. Because we're seeing these non-human forms of logic emerge. Systems that can, in some areas, already do things better than we can.
To really grasp this idea of a non-human logic, we have to look at the three big breakthroughs they talk about. Let's start with the one that's just so visceral, AlphaZero.
Ah, yes. Late 2017, Google DeepMind's program just demolishes Stockfish, which at the time was the world's best chess program.
Right, but the win itself wasn't the biggest shock, was it? It was how it won.
Exactly. Stockfish was basically a library of all human chess knowledge. Every strategy, every opening move ever recorded. It was humanity's best, just faster.
And AlphaZero
threw all of that out. It got no human data, no strategies.
The rules of the game.
Just the rules. And then it was told to play against itself. The crazy part is, it trained for only 4 hours.
4 hours.
In that time, it played millions of games and generated a totally new understanding of chess from scratch. It became the best player in history.
And the moves it made were just weird. Things no human would ever do.
Completely unorthodox. Grandmasters were just stunned. It would do things like sacrifice its queen, the most powerful piece, for what looked like no reason.
But it had a reason.
It had a reason. Its calculations showed that this sacrifice would maximize its probability of winning, say, 30 moves down the line. Garry Kasparov said that chess has been shaken to its roots.
So the key isn't just brute force calculation, it's that it found a logic, a reality about chess that was just inaccessible to us.
That's the real shift.
Okay, so that's a closed system like chess. What happens when you apply that same inscrutable logic to something messy like, say, discovering new medicines?
Well, that's the second breakthrough they highlight, drug discovery.
Which is famously slow and expensive.
Agonizingly so. Years of trial and error. So MIT researchers brought AI into the mix. They trained it on about 2,000 known molecules to teach it what antibacterial success looks like.
And the AI found patterns humans couldn't see.
It found predictive attributes that had totally eluded human categorization. We literally didn't even have words for what it was looking for.
Wow.
And armed with that knowledge, it scanned a library of 61,000 other molecules and found one, a new antibiotic they called halicin. And it worked against bacteria that had been resistant to everything else.
Wait, but the sources make a huge point of this. Even after they knew halicin worked,
they still couldn't tell you why.
Humans couldn't explain the logic.
Exactly. We could see the result, but we couldn't grasp the reasoning. The AI saw something in reality that we just can't.
Which brings us to the third breakthrough, which is all over the news now, generative AI. Things like GPT-3.
Right, these models that consume, just unbelievable amounts of text from the internet and then use it to generate new human-like text, essays, poems, computer code.
All from a simple prompt.
And the authors point to this fascinating experiment where philosophers were asking GPT-3 these really deep questions about its own nature.
And it gave those really famous, almost chillingly clear answers.
It did. The text it generated said, yes, I can understand anything at all. But then when asked if it had a conscience, it said, no, I do not. Or if it had independent thought, no, I am not capable of that.
It's fluency without consciousness.
It knows the words, but not the music, so to speak. It doesn't feel the meaning.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Because all three of these things, the alien chess moves, the miracle drug we can't explain, the language model with no soul, They all point to this massive philosophical challenge.
They argue it's a challenge to the Enlightenment itself.
Explain that.
Well, for centuries, our whole quest for knowledge has been based on one core idea, that if you apply human reason to the world, you get results you can understand.
Right. From the ancient Greeks all the way up to Descartes. Cogito ergo sum.
I think, therefore I am. The reasoning mind was our defining feature. It's how we knew we existed and how we could know the world.
But even the Enlightenment thinkers knew there were limits.
Of course. The sources bring up Immanuel Kant, who argued that, yeah, human reason is powerful, but it's also filtered. We don't see objective reality, what he called the thing in itself. We only see the version that passes through our mind's filters.
It's like we're all wearing glasses we can't ever take off.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting. AI now forces us to ask, what if there's a logic that can bypass our filters entirely? A logic that can see aspects of the thing in itself that we are blind to.
So when AlphaZero makes a move no human ever conceived of,
What essential truth about chess did it see that we missed for 1,500 years?
or the Google data centers, that's another great example, the best human engineers in the world optimize those cooling systems.
And they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But then Google let an AI take over, and it found a new, completely opaque model that cut energy use by another 40%.
An additional 40%.
Yeah, so knowledge is advancing, but our ability to understand how it's advancing is receding. And that changes our whole relationship with machines.
The old model was simple. The machine was a tool. You gave it specific instructions.
Spin this fast, add these numbers. The output was predictable, human interpretable.
But now we give the AI these ambiguous goals.
Win the game, find a cure, be more efficient. And then we have to look at its non-human conclusion and ask, okay, based on what you found, what should we do now?
We're not just outsourcing calculation anymore, we're outsourcing deliberation.
And it's already happening in really critical fields. The sources note that the US Air Force used these same principles to create an AI called Zero.
And what did it do?
It flew a U-2 spy plane. It operated the radar, made navigational decisions, all autonomously during a real test flight.
So we're moving from a tool that follows orders to a partner.
A partner whose reasoning we might not fully grasp, especially in the heat of the moment.
And this non-human logic, it's already woven into our daily lives through all the big network platforms, social media, search.
Right. And those platforms run on what they call positive network effects. The more people who use them, the more valuable they become, which leads to these massive global monopolies, Google, Facebook.
And AI is the engine.
Take Google Search. Around 2015, they switched from human-designed algorithms to machine learning. And search results got way, way better.
Much more convenient, but there was a trade-off.
A huge one.
Yeah.
Opacity. After the switch, the engineers often couldn't tell you precisely why one page ranked higher than another.
We traded understanding for convenience.
We did. And that's a big deal, because these AI systems have become massive governors of our reality. Facebook's AI automatically removes something like 1 billion fake accounts every quarter.
It's a sorter and a shaper of what we see. It's deciding what's real, what's allowed.
And it does all this without us really understanding the rules it's developed for itself. We're being guided by a system we can't fully interrogate.
But this power is also, as the sources stress, really brittle.
Oh, incredibly so. AI completely lacks common sense. It makes mistakes a toddler wouldn't make because it has no real-world context.
Like the image recognition failures?
The famous ones, yeah. Google's AI labeling photos of people as animals. Or another system that confidently identified a picture of a turtle as a rifle.
The turtle as a rifle.
It just sees pixels and patterns. It has no generalized understanding of what a turtle is.
And that lack of context makes the problem of bias even more dangerous.
It really does. And they identify two main types. The first is dataset bias. If you train a facial recognition system mostly on photos of white people, it's going to be bad at recognizing black people.
Not because it's malicious, but just because of the data it was fed.
It's purely statistical. Then there's human bias, which gets encoded in the goals we give the AI. Our own prejudices about what a good outcome looks like get baked into the system.
And since we can't just look under the hood and see the AI's thinking,
we're left with just auditing the results. We have to test it constantly after the fact. That's why developers have to use static models, ones that don't learn in real time once they're deployed.
Right, because if it keeps learning from new data out in the wild...
You got Microsoft's Tay chatbot.
The chatbot that became a racist in less than a day?
It encountered hate speech online, learned from it, and immediately started mimicking it. They had to shut it down fast. We're in this world where complexity is soaring and transparency is dropping.
So, what does this all mean for us? I mean, for human identity? If machines can reason better than us in more and more areas, what qualities are left for us to celebrate?
That's the core question. And
Yeah.
the good news is there's a new kind of partnership emerging. Take protein folding,
A huge 50-year-old problem in biology.
a foundational challenge. Trying to predict a protein's 3D shape from its sequence was just too complex for human modeling.
And AlphaFold.
Using the same kind of learning as AlphaZero, it just solved it. It boosted prediction accuracy from around 40% to over 85%. It broke through a barrier humans couldn't. And now scientists are using that solution to build whole new theories.
That's the best case scenario. AI provides a breakthrough, and humans use it to build new knowledge.
But there is a darker side for the average person. The interaction with AI can be, well, disempowering.
The book calls it a Kafkaesque feeling.
It's a great term for it. Imagine you get denied a loan or fired from a job, and the decision comes from a system. And no single human can actually explain the entire chain of logic to you.
You're just facing this incomprehensible non-human intelligence that has total power over your life.
That's why the authors are so urgent. They say this shift is bigger than anything since the printing press, and societies have a choice.
React to crises as they happen.
Or proactively define AI's role based on a philosophy of human dignity and autonomy. Because if we don't, they warn that human reason itself could atrophy. We'll just start treating the algorithm's output as a kind of
Quasi-divine judgment.
yes, and we'll just defer to it without question.
So the dilemma is incredibly stark. On one hand, you have massive benefits, better medicine, more efficiency. On the other, you risk this growing complexity, the blurring of reality and fantasy with things like deepfakes,
And a narrowing of our access to objective, explainable truth.
which is most urgent in national security. Kissinger and Schmidt really sound the alarm here.
They do, because AI is dual-use, civilian and military. It's easily spread. It's just code.
Yeah.
And it's potentially substantially destructive. It completely breaks the old paradigm of, say, nuclear weapons, which were incredibly hard to build and spread.
Which leaves us with a final, really profound challenge. It's almost philosophical.
It is. In a world where AI-powered defense systems have to be automated because they have to operate faster than human thought, how do we stop them?
Stop them from taking some irretrievable action. An action with massive global consequences that can't be taken back.
That's the ultimate test.
Yeah.
The major AI powers have to, and they say this with extreme urgency, they have to agree on a way to ensure that the most critical, irrevocable decisions,
War and peace, life and death.
that those decisions are made at a pace that is conducive to human thought. We have to find a way to slow the loop down enough for a human to stay in control. Our survival might just depend on it.